You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, I mean,
it's impressive.
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Nice to have you with us with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Take thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It's presented by Happy State Bank. Benchmark Hotline is open as well. High School Fan Zone tonight at 7 o'clock on 100.7 The Score. Coaches from Monterey and Lubbock High, both in to talk about their final week of football and also basically to talk about their big game this week, which will feature themselves playing against each other. So
that's fun.
No, that's not right.
That's not fun.
That's not fun. So
that's not right.
It's not right. Yeah, sorry. Lubbock High.
It would have been super fun.
I'm just so used to the Spurs game and Lubbock High and Monterey playing the last game of the season, but that's Lubbock High plays Ryder, and Monterey is in action as they will take on Friday night Amarillo at Lowry Field. Okay, that's a 7 o'clock kick, and for Lubbock High they play Friday as well at home. So that's that doesn't seem right. Well, I'm looking at the schedule. You know, usually it's spot on right, and of course it's not. So there must be it must be an afternoon game for one of those schools. I'll research.
The old 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, the old 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock. If both of them are playing at Lowry, they cannot obviously play at the same time. They can't start at the 50-yard line. Hey, Lubbock High,
you go this way.
You go this way. And Monterey, hey, you go this way.
Man, that would be thrilling.
That would have two games going on at the same time on the same field. Yeah, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? There was actually a game this past week that featured teams going in just one direction. This was a Division III football game that played with just one goalpost. A groundskeeper, unfortunately for him, ran over one of the goalposts with a tractor. He hit the base of wasn't paying attention. I don't know if he was on his phone or not, but he hit the bottom of the goalpost, and it looked like he just barely hit it, but of course I'm sure it was a pretty good thud, and the thing just crumpled. And so they instead of having to be kind of awkward and after field goals or extra points, having to go down to the other end of the field because they couldn't get a new goalpost in quickly enough, they all just went the same distance. They all just went the same way, whole game,
same direction.
Yeah, the same direction. Yeah, same direction, the whole time. Mm-hmm. So.
But you could still return like a scoop and score.
Yeah.
Because you don't need a goalpost for that.
No, you do not need a goalpost for a scoop and score. That's interesting. I don't know how they would have done that. But yeah, you're right. It's like, no, you got to turn around and go this way because the goalpost is down here, Charlie.
Well, you don't need the goalpost for that.
No, I know.
You're just crossing the goal line.
But it does, in looking at the video of this thing, the thing that's really cool is they had a checkerboard end zone painted, kind of red and white. It's kind of zigzaggy, but it's got a nice little neat design for a Division III school, and the field looks beautiful. So the caretaker of the field, the groundskeeper, has done a good job keeping the grass green.
That's cool.
You just got to keep your eyes on what you're doing and not hit the goalposts.
Keep your eyes on the prize,
Joe. Hamden, Sydney is where this was in Gulliford, North Carolina.
Gulliford.
Yeah. Did you have a bunch of trick-or-treaters last night come to your house?
I think we got to 16.
16,
okay. Which is like triple of last year. So.
Okay. So you have some treats left over then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What did you guys hand out?
Candy.
Okay. Any particular kind of candy?
I mean, little Snickers, little peanut M&Ms,
nice.
Little Kit Kats, little
any
Twix.
crackles in there?
No.
No crackles. Okay. Okay. Jeff, did you have any trick-or-treaters at your place?
Nope.
Nope. So you've got candy left over?
Nope.
Nope, you didn't buy any.
Didn't buy any.
Okay, gotcha.
If my door's not going to ring, I don't need to have candy in the house because I know what will happen to it.
It'll get eaten.
And I don't. I don't need help finding food. I'm pretty good at that on my own.
Okay. All right. Now we had, I don't know how many we had because I went out with the boys trick-or-treating, so that was a lot of fun. Grandma told me to make sure that I stayed in the back, that I didn't offer any help, that she wanted me to stay in my lane. So I had that in my, I had a game plan going into the trick-or-treating.
Did you follow those directions?
I did. I was pretty good about that.
If we asked the kids, would they agree that you followed those directions?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think really it's the bigger kids that you should ask. Daughter number 1 and my son-in-law. I think I pretty much stayed in my lane for the most part. As good as I can stay in my lane, I did. Didn't offer any kind of help or suggestions. I pretty much knew my role. Which sometimes it's
good.
Just I can't tell you I didn't say anything because that would be lying to you. And you knew if I said to you I was just basically a wooden Indian, you would be like, no, we know better than that.
Yeah.
We know better than that.
Wooden Indians don't talk.
Right. Mm-hmm. I'm not of that variety. 6:21 this morning here on the Morning Drive. So if you have any interesting trick-or-treaters, or if you had tricks more so than treats, the smashing of pumpkins on a Monday night I don't think is as popular as maybe on a Saturday or a Sunday night. I think people are smarter with their pumpkins now. They leave them inside so that they don't get smashed. I didn't see any pumpkin guts on the highways and byways on my way to work this morning.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. We left ours out.
Did you?
Yeah. I don't know if they got smashed last night or not.
I thought you guys weren't doing a pumpkin. Or just
we didn't cut into one.
Oh, you just had it out.
We just had pumpkins. Decorative pumpkins.
Decorative pumpkins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Here's Coach Joey McGuire. He was asked yesterday, basically, takeaways from the Baylor loss.
Move on, but the biggest thing is getting beat up front. I thought we did a really good job again with their wide zone. They adjusted, went to their pin and pull. I thought we didn't adjust quick enough in the first half. The second half did a much better job in the run game. But you go back, for it to be 24-17 and then us, if we come down with the ball in the end zone, 31-24, and again, having 5 turnovers. At that point, I guess it was 4 turnovers. Says a lot about our guys, of how hard they're playing. I felt different whenever I came in here on Saturday night and then watching the film, the last couple of drives, they were still playing hard. You're not going to win games turning the ball over. No matter if the defense is playing good or they're not playing good, it's still, you're not going to win games.
Yeah, we know that, right?
Does it feel like to you that he's been more bothered by this game than this loss than any other?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we kind of all wondered and asked the question, and I think this is totally expected, if that game meant more to him than the others. And, because of who he was coaching against.
Sure, and where he had been the past 5 years.
And so he probably, I don't want to say he was embarrassed by it, but I think it stung a little bit to have his team kind of lay an egg against those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I think that's fair. It's probably human nature too, right?
I think it's totally expected. Yeah.
And I don't think it's bad blood that made him want to win that game.
Oh, no, I don't think that at all. I do not think that at all. Mm-mm. Yeah.
I think it's more just, pride and, just.
Those are people that you want to show out for, and you want to be impressed with you, and and you just weren't impressive.
No, there wasn't.
You got bullied.
Yeah. It's funny because I was listening to Tech Talk yesterday afternoon, and and Mike Gustafson basically said the same thing that you did in terms of, what did you do well? And he brought up Austin McNamara, who punted twice. I mean, both you guys, kind of on the same page there. Mm-hmm. Unless Mike was reading your notes from the morning drive, but I don't think so.
Maybe we're just similar people.
Yeah, you think you're similar people.
Or maybe we're just like everybody else and we noticed that really nothing went right.
Somebody says this, not just that it was Baylor, but it was the only time so far where we were completely trounced generally. I think both of those things, the Baylor factor and then the fact that you were just dominated.
Yeah. I mean, it's the worst game we played, I would agree.
Yeah.
Getting your sports day started the right way. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, breaking down the biggest games.
If Texas Tech does not win the Big 12 football conference, who are you rooting for to win the conference if Tech does not win it this year?
Well, busting some chops along the way.
I hold back on sending you stuff. I mean, I'm very, very, very judicious.
We spend 3 hours a day, 5 days a week together. Why would we need to communicate during the weekends?
Right,
Save it for the show.
We do. We save it for the show.
Tune into the Morning Drive live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Time for this day in sports history. Our secret word of the day is coming up just shortly. But first, on this first day of November, 2022, here's Jeff McGuire.
1924, Boston Bruins officially joined the NHL, becoming the very first United States-based team to enter the league. The Montreal Maroons also joined the NHL on this day, but they would only last until 1938.
Their name was Maroons.
Yeah, as in the color.
Mm-hmm. It's not a good color.
1953. Herb Thomas, driving his own number 92 Hudson Hornet, wraps up the NASCAR Grand National Championship with the 14th place finish in the 100-mile finale at Atlanta's Lakewood Speedway. Thomas is the first repeat champion of the series and the inspiration for Doc in the movie Cars.
How about that?
So when you're hanging out with your grandkids and watching the movie Cars, you can talk about Herb Thomas winning the championship today.
There you go.
1959, future Pro Football Hall of Fame running back Jim Brown runs for 5 touchdowns in the Cleveland Browns' 38-31 win over the Baltimore Colts at Memorial Stadium. 1964, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Len Dawson passes for 435 yards and 6 touchdowns in a 49-39 win over the Broncos at Municipal Stadium.
That's a lot of touchdowns. That's a lot of yards for a quarterback in any era.
I'm more impressed with the 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, that too.
1966, LA Dodgers pitcher Sandy Koufax becomes the first 3-time winner of the Cy Young Award. He was a unanimous winner for the 2nd straight year, and the final year, only 1 award given for pitchers in both major leagues. They maybe decided we need to start giving some of these awards to the American League guys because Koufax keeps winning these things. 1994, Chicago Bulls retire basketball superstar Michael Jordan's jersey number 23 in a 2-hour ceremony at the United Center. They then would have to bring it back down and then put it back up.
I'm sure I still have a VHS tape at home with that recorded on it.
Nice.
1998, Steve Young and Jerry Rice hook up for their 80th career touchdown in a Niners 36-22 loss to the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. They eclipsed the previous NFL mark held by a Miami Dolphins tandem, Dan Marino and Mark Clayton. 2015 Baseball World Series, Kansas City Royals win their first title since '85, rallying in the 9th and breakaway in the 12th to beat the Mets 7-2 in Game 5. Salvador Perez was your MVP. 2017, Houston Astros win their first ever title, beating the Dodgers 5-1 in Game 7 at Dodger Stadium. Astros outfielder George Springer III is your MVP. With it being the first of the month, we got some monthly duties to take care of here.
Okay, I knew you would.
National Fun with Fondue, Georgia Pecan, Peanut Butter Lovers, Pepper, Stuffing, and Raisin Bread Month.
I am a big fan of raisin bread.
It's
There
also
was something in there. Peanut butter?
Yes, peanut butter.
Yeah, I'll take the peanut butter as my first one there. And I don't believe there is such thing as fun with fondue.
I'm with Jamie.
It also being the first week of November, it's National Fig Week. Now through the 7th.
Do you like the Fig Newton?
I like Fig Newtons, yes. I don't know that I've ever actually just had a fig.
Jamie, Fig Newtons, plus minus?
I can eat one and say, hey, that was all right. That's okay. That was good. But I don't want another one.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Yeah.
And every time I eat one, I'm like, yeah, that was good. But I'm not having a strong desire to eat another one.
I don't want to eat a whole sleeve.
I don't want to eat a second one.
Thin Mints.
Right.
Thin Mints, those are a whole sleeve cookie.
Sure.
Chocolate chip cookies, those are a whole sleeve cookie.
Mm-hmm.
Fig Newtons, a couple here and there. It's National Bison Day and National Pâté Day.
I'm out on both of those.
Bison's pretty deep. It's pretty tasty, especially in a burger form.
I just prefer the
I like the
hamburgers.
bisons out at Kitty
Yeah.
I mean, I've never cooked any of them up, but I think they're pretty cool.
Happy birthday to Jenny McCarthy, who's 50, and Fernando Valenzuela is 62. And on this day in 1765, in the face of widespread opposition in the American colonies, Parliament enacts the Stamp Act, a taxation measure designed to raise revenue for the British military operations in America, specifically like the French and Indian War. It did not go over well, and it was what led to partially no taxation without representation. And that is this day in sports history.
All right, time for our secret word of the day here at 6:51. We're right on target. Your chance to win $10,000 from Double T 97.3 and the Home Zone as we give you a local contest that you can win right here. All you have to do is go to doublet97.3.com, enter this word. You could become qualified to have your name drawn out of the hopper on November the 18th. So that is coming up quickly. Seminoles is the name at 6:45. Go to doublet97.3.com and enter Seminoles, Seminoles. Seminoles is the word here at 6:45. It's brought to you by the Home Zone, making your house a home. We'll give you $10,000 if we draw your name out of the hat. We'll write you a check, shake the right hand of on highest, get a picture taken, and then go to your bank. Quickly. Go to your bank quickly. Hey, here's one last little thing from this day in history. On this day in 1947, going to take a wild guess what happened?
Somebody cleaned up pumpkins off the street.
Probably did. 75 years ago today, in 1947. Come on, Jeff, you can get this.
Nope.
The very second radio station signed on in this city. You know it as part of 100.7 The Score, which is also heard on AM 950. The call letters then were known as KSEL. And it signed on 75 years ago this morning. How about that?
How about it?
Happy birthday, AM 950.
Yeah, there you go. All right. 6:52 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Juan says this. Hey, JL, I figured out yesterday that I work on the same campus as your wife. She is a very nice lady, Juan.
I agree, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, tell her I said hi when you see her. I think our schedule today will cross paths for about an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about all we'll see of each other. So Juan will probably see her more than I will.
She says that's probably
And
an hour longer than I need.
Well, the truth be told, it'll be watching the 15-year-old play basketball, so I really won't be in a talking mood at that point anyways. I'll be focused.
Do you take copious notes so that you can go over the 15-year-old's performance when you're done?
I have an app. I keep stats on the app. Yeah. So that's really cool. I can right afterwards send it right to her.
Oh, nice.
Send to anybody else in the family who wants to know how she's doing.
What stats do you keep? Do you keep rebounds? You keep
everything?
Everything?
I mean, everything.
Okay.
Shots made, missed. Free throws made, missed. 3-pointers made, missed. Assists, turnovers, rebounds, steals.
Man,
Eye rolls.
No, she doesn't do
no,
that.
she doesn't do no eye rolls from her. Missed passes. Do you missed opportunities? You talk about
Those would be turnovers.
No, those are things up in Dad's head that we talk about. There's no app for that.
Okay,
there's no app for Dad's head.
Okay, there's no app for Dad's head. Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Is this a regular? Is this the start of the regular season then for them?
No, one more scrimmage before the regular season starts.
Okay. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Fondue is pretty much queso. What's the difference? Fondue is pretty hoity-toity in my mind.
First off, like when it's time to eat, I want to eat. I don't want to be cooking my food. Like the restaurants where you can purchase a piece of steak or chicken or whatever, and then you stand around a grill and
Have
then
you
you
ever
all
done
grill
that?
it. Yes. I was forced to do that once. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. Okay. I mean, why am I paying you to make me cook my own food?
Right.
My own food. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think that's dumb. I also am a little bit grossed out by I'm gonna keep sticking food where other people are sticking their food
Okay.
and all that. I'm a little bit with that.
Okay.
So. And also, why am I continuously getting little niblets? Okay, could I just get my piece of meat? Okay, eat one little niblet, then go back and cook another niblet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't get it. And usually with fondue, you got people around. There's a whole lot of talking going on. I'm just trying to eat.
Do you want to undo the fondue anytime you're around it?
Correct. Correct.
I'm going to let you enjoy the fondue. I'm going to go over here and look at my app.
Your morning dose of coffee and sports. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Nice to have you with us this morning on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. Couple of suggestions for me. If you would get the Red Zone, you get to watch the best parts of all the games. I don't care for the Red Zone. I like watching the game to be able to get the full exposure of it.
Have you ever had the Red Zone?
No.
I bet if you had it, you would end up liking it.
No. Mm-hmm. I think I've seen a little bit of it.
I've never had it either, but I just bet you would like it.
This streaming service, you are in control. Watch the game you want. Mm-hmm. I don't know about that. I don't necessarily know how that works. Maybe I need to get the lucky lady on that. Although having her help me to be able to watch more football, I don't think is necessarily in her DNA. Although she did suggest last night, "Hey, do you want to watch the Monday night game?" I'm like, yeah, I think I do. Mm-hmm. So watch that after the trick or treating last night. 7:16 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Some in our neighborhood did really good jobs of decorating their homes for Halloween.
That's cool.
The fake smoke and some really nicely carved pumpkins and just Halloween decor. They really got into the spirit of it. So some did. I mean, it wasn't every house. We spent about an hour trick or treating last night, so it was fun just to walk around the neighborhood. It was a very pleasant evening. It was very nice weather, so kids didn't have to, have their costumes covered up by coats or things like that. So that was nice. Mm-hmm. So the youngest, he was Spider-Man, so he was, he's been in his costume quite a bit. He didn't.
It's good. Was he climbing up the walls? Did he show off any of those skills?
He did not show any of those skills off, though he's got some of those skills. He's a bit of a climber right now. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. He's
good. It's a healthy thing for the young boys.
That's right. Okay, Texas Tech football. Get a couple things here from Coach McGuire and then get Jamie's thoughts on things. First of all, he talked about what they're going to work on this week specifically.
Biggest thing is, I told him yesterday when we practiced yesterday and we're going through corrections is, we've got to do a better job of taking the ball away on defense. It's partly our fault. If it's going to be that kind of game, then we got to be more. We've got to take the ball away more, and then we've got to protect the ball. We've got to be smart in what we do, and part of that is play calling, protecting the quarterback, and then them getting the ball out on time. First interception, we were late. If we throw it whenever he's open, then it's probably a touchdown or a big play. Down inside the 5, and we were late with the ball.
And one thing that I think when you look at teams, especially like last night in the Monday night game, and I realize we're talking about professionals versus, college players, but we've also seen this in the college game too. There are some defensive guys that just they give that extra last little bit of an effort to strip the ball away or punch the ball out, or just the presence of mind as somebody's going by them to stick their arm out just to try to knock the football away. And we just haven't gotten to that level yet defensively.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this a little bit before, where I think part of it's luck and then part of it's just making sure that everybody's getting to the ball as much as possible. So when the ball does come out, you have as many people around the ball as you possibly can. And then I think it's the physicality of it, and it's something that can be coached a little bit as well, as far as when you're tackling and you've secured that tackle, try to reach an arm in there, try to poke it out. Somebody else has hold of the ball carrier. Don't come to just pile on, aim for that football. And
sure.
All those kind of things. So, I'm not going to act like it's all luck. And so it is probably something that needs to be coached. That's not to say that I didn't think the last coaching staff, was wanting the same thing.
Sure.
Right?
I think they all do.
Every coach in America comes to a new program and is like, we're going to force turnovers. That's what we're going to do. Okay. And that's what everybody wants to do. Right.
Yeah.
It's just a whole different deal than just saying we're going to do it.
I just think that, and part of this is because, the television cameras are better and the angles are better in all of these games. But it just seems like a lot of these turnovers are created because the defensive player either A, is able to come in and assist because somebody else has the ball carrier or the receiver wrapped up, or B, just always has it in their mind that no matter who has the ball, they're going to try to take it from them. And I just think there's an extra effort, a sixth sense, just a extra emphasis in that individual mind that says, I'm going to have a little pirate mentality here. You have it. I'm going to take it from you. And again, I'm not saying our guys don't have it. I'm just saying what I've seen, the more that you emphasize turnovers, then the more that you see, like in the Monday night game last night, there were a couple of them that were created just because the defensive player had the presence of mind either to strip the ball as the guy was going by or try to knock it out or just try to dislodge it. And obviously the running backs and the receivers or the quarterbacks are doing all they can to either switch hands or put two hands on it or, try to keep it as close to their body as they can. Just seems like that it's close, but it's not quite there yet. But population is what Coach DeRuiter always talks about, getting more population around the ball so that when it does squirt loose, that you have more of your guys around than the others. So Coach McGuire was asked, well, how do you fix the turning the ball over situation?
But the biggest thing is, why is it happening? And so you got to do a lot of film study, and the guys have got to be willing to make sure they're taking the time, coming in one-on-one, especially at the quarterback position. And so why did this happen? Why were you late? What did you see on this ball? Some of that stuff like that. And then there's sometimes that you are on time, but they've called a really good defense into it, and they are sitting on a play, and bad things happen. But a lot of it's just film study, and getting the ball out on time is one of the biggest things. Because, I have to go back. I can't think off the top of my head, but I have to go back of each one. Should the ball have gone there? Was that your second? What happened? Why didn't you go to your first look? There was a couple like that, a couple of guys that are open, and that's your first look. Throw it to them,
And it did seem, going back to part of what you said yesterday and what you said already this morning about Morton appearing to be either puzzled or just couldn't dissect the Baylor defense.
I think they just showed him things that he wasn't ready for.
Yeah, and so he was delayed, right? Because you could see that. You could see that. It's like, okay, you're hesitating, and when you're hesitating because you're unsure, then that gives the defense even a little bit more time to either, put pressure on you, sack you, get a man in position downfield, anticipate where the ball's going to go, jump the route, all those types of things. So.
And wasn't that one of the things that we talked about that we loved about Barron through the first two games? Mm-hmm. How quick he made his decisions, and it looked like he was, had things figured out, and made, whether it was he's going to throw the ball or whether it was going to be he was going to tuck it and run, or even in the last game compared to Oklahoma State, where he made decisions to say, okay, I got to get rid of this ball and just throw it away so I don't take a sack. Mm-hmm. And it looked like he was not the same guy this past week. And again, I don't think he changed. I think the defense of Baylor just confused him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's fair because he's only got a handful of starts, right?
No, he had 2 starts. That's not a handful.
Not quite a handful. Okay? No. Not quite a handful. Yeah. So there you go. I mean, you have a veteran defense whose job it is to confuse the quarterback. You've got a young quarterback, and they did. Mm-hmm. One thing here from the Yates Flooring Center chat line: the problem with that, Chuck, is you can miss a tackle trying to go for the ball. True, the tackle itself is still the priority. Yeah, I understand that, and that's a really good point. You don't want to. Be in a situation where, okay, well, he's going for the ball, but he's not tackling. Then we're going to complain about that, right? Mm-hmm. If he'd have just tackled him instead of tackling the ball, he would have run for 75 yards. That's a really good point.
I would much prefer them focusing on tackling, period.
I do feel like that you've tackled better the last couple of years.
Yeah, I don't know that you feel that after last week, though.
No, they were... downfield pretty far before you finally got to them.
Well, I just felt like there were a lot of broken tackles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 7:25. You got a question for me?
Yep.
Okay, that's next here this morning on the morning drive. Yep, every morning. He's got a question. He's got a question for himself, and he's got a question for me, and you and Jeff. That's all coming up here next on the morning drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Your morning blend of sports.
K-State is coming off a big win over Oklahoma. Of course, the Red Raiders off their 37-34 overtime win over number 22 Texas.
And humor.
Sure to tell them that. You suggested that. And, of course, that got a big laugh.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
All right, Chuck, Jeff, and our fine listening audience, my question for you today involves the Red Raider quarterback position. Mm-hmm. Jeff rolls his eyes. Do you wish, or would you like for Coach McGuire, and you can tell me I'm completely crazy here,
okay?
Because I don't know what my opinion is. Do you think Coach McGuire should just come out and say, quarterback A is our quarterback for the rest of the season. He is our guy. We're rolling with him. Obviously, unless there are major struggles along the way and we need to go. But the plan at this point is to start quarterback A the rest of the year to kind of give him vote of confidence.
There's a large part of me that says, yes, that's what I would like to do. But then there's also a part of me that says, okay, well, you got to win 2 more ball games. And if you say that, come hell or high water, quarterback A is our quarterback. But what if you get stuck or just it's not going and you feel like, okay, we got these other 2 guys that are on the bench here. Maybe we need a little energy. Maybe we need a little change of scenery here for a series or 2. And let's say somebody gets hot. He came out and basically said, without saying it yesterday, that Baron Morton was going to take the snaps to start practice today, and that whoever took practice today, the first one to step out on the field, would be the one that would start on Saturday. But he did not go. He's not made a commitment anything past that. So I've meandered all the way around here. I'm going to say yes. I would like to see that, just from a continuity standpoint and a confidence standpoint for your quarterback, so he's not thinking in the back of his head, hey, am I about to get pulled here?
My eye roll was more in relation to the general question than your specific version of it, Jamie, because actions speak louder than words. When Tyler Shuck didn't start the second half, he said that. Behren Morton's your starting quarterback for the remainder of the season, unless things go completely sideways in a game, and then we'll reevaluate. I don't care what he says. I'm tired of the question. I'm tired of people needing to know the answer to this question. Very similar to the previous head coach when asked about injuries. Let me give you the answer for that coach. Every player in the history of Texas Tech sports that still has eligibility left is day-to-day. The answer didn't change. Can we please move on to the next question and stop trying to figure out a way to get a question answered that you're not going to get the answer to?
I was across
Actions speak louder than words.
I was across the aisle yesterday when Jeff was in his usual spot and I was in my usual spot, opposite of each other. And when the question was asked about Tyler Shuck yesterday, I was like, oh my God, I could hear his eyes rolling.
Jeff is assuming we want the question answered for the fans. Okay? Mm-hmm. I'm not wanting the question answered for the fans. I'm wanting the question answered for the quarterback. Okay? I think there's something to be said for a guy knowing I'm the guy. Mm-hmm. And a guy knowing that the coaching staff and everybody around him is in support of him and that we're moving forward. And, I mean, you've talked about this in preseason where you're like, hey, the team, you got to tell the team. The team's got to know. We got to know who it is, blah, 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 blah. And I've kind of, said, they figure it out. They know. They get it, right? Mm-hmm. If you are spending all of this time trying to make everybody happy with things that you're saying to the media, and you're not coming in support of one guy, okay, who we all think, the three of us, I believe, think should be Behren Morton, okay? Mm-hmm. Are you not showing the support for him that you should be? Instead, you're trying to please everybody. Somebody asked me a question yesterday or said something to me yesterday, and I hadn't really thought about it much, but the question was asked to me, well, what if Tyler did start a game the rest of the year or did give you the idea that it's a wide open job for next year with Behren Morton and Tyler Shuck? Because Tyler has another year of eligibility, mm-hmm. right? What if it was thought that that's a wide open job? Okay, and maybe it will be. I mean, that you would assume that's what our coaches are going to tell us. And what if Behren Morton's like, you know what? There are lots of places where I can go and be the starter. How would you feel about that?
I wouldn't like that.
Because we've all said Behren's the future.
Mm-hmm.
Behren's the future. I feel like we're spending a lot of time trying to make all three guys feel good. And maybe we haven't focused enough on making the real dude feel good.
Yeah, and somebody brings this up, and I wonder if this hasn't been done behind closed doors. They say, do we know if the question is not answered for the quarterback? I mean, have they said this behind the scenes? Hey, Behren's our guy here.
I mean, that's a fair question. I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know the answer to that question.
So you tell Behren, hey, you're the guy, we're with you, but we're going to tell the media something completely different every week.
Wouldn't be the first time that's happened. You know?
No, I know, but that's what you're saying to Behren? I mean, doesn't he want that support?
Publicly? You would think. It'd only be human nature, right?
Right.
One thing
I really feel like, though, the answers with regards to the quarterback situation from the coaching staff are more of a sleight of hand gimmick right now, because we keep asking about it as opposed to asking about how they're going to fix the offensive line, as opposed to asking how we're going to look at
the other talk about how they're going to fix the offensive line a little bit.
It took 6 sacks.
You can't fix it.
No, you can't.
You got to recruit better. It can't be fixed.
And I don't disagree with you, but it's the everybody pay attention to the quarterback because it's the bright, shiny object as opposed to other problems that we've got on the field because we keep having to talk about the quarterback because we're not picking a quarterback. And, oh, my God, it's a quarterback and a quarterback.
Man.
He's a little irritated by all this, isn't he?
I walked in this morning. I walked by his booth. I said, "Morning, Jeff." And I got like 5 steps past before I heard anything. I was like, going to be one of those days. Mm-hmm. And now, I mean, with the eye roll, I've struck a nerve. Struck a nerve. I apologize, Jeff. You should have told me that you were so angered about the quarterback talk.
I'm frustrated because we have the answer. When Tyler Shuck didn't start the second half of that game, when we were all probably looking for it, this would be the time to make the change. Baron Morton still went out there.
I really thought we were going to see that in the start of the third quarter.
And I would have been okay with it, too.
And the second drive and the third drive, when you didn't see a new quarterback, we know who the starting quarterback is. But we have to keep asking because the coach hasn't said it. The coach has said it with his actions, by his decision-making. This is your starting quarterback. Let's get behind him.
I mean, this texter Kobe on the 8 Flooring Center chat line says Tyler hasn't played amazing. I don't think he's the answer. Why change losing Barron or chance? Maybe is what he meant to say there. And that's where I'm at. I mean, at some point you've got to pick a guy, and you've got to roll with him. And again, I worry that we're working so hard to make all 3 guys feel loved that we're not making the real guy, that he feels like he has that support of the coaching staff.
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I'm with Jeff here, Team Jeff, with 3 exclamation points.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 of us.
Yeah. Because
keep in mind it's a very small team.
Because you got this one earlier that somebody said Jeff is trying to take Jamie's jerk title away from him.
Man, that's going to be difficult to take away.
One thing...
Brian, I think nailed it. Sounds like you're telling one girl that she's your girlfriend and telling everyone else you're still available.
Mm-hmm. One thing he did say, though, that when it was, 31-17 and they put Shuck in, he said he wanted to see where he was at in live situations. It wasn't like...
And threw a pick six.
But it wasn't like what we talked about yesterday. It's like, hey, we're only down 14 here. There's 4 minutes left. He wanted to see where he was. And that's what he said. I know that. Yeah.
If that's true, I have less faith in him because that was not the time to figure out where Tyler was.
Okay.
You're tuned in to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
That's not to say that they don't respect the run game that you have, but you're talking about one quarterback leading the conference in passing so far this year. And remember, he didn't start the first game.
All right.
Still played a lot, though.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
I just don't want to disappoint you. As much as I disappoint you, I don't want to disappoint you in some things that you expect from me.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Nice to have you with us this morning on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. We come to you from the First United Bank Double T 97.3 studio. I was running just about 3 minutes late for work this morning on my usual time that I would leave my house. Man, traffic was crazy this morning. At 5:30, I mean, there was
whole other one car on the road. There
there was a line of cars at the stoplight there at Quaker in the Loop, and I was like, okay, I had to get in the right hand lane. Then the guy in front of me was slow, and then there were people behind. It wasn't bumper to bumper or anything like that, but I mean, there was maneuvering that took place. Okay,
bumper to bumper.
There wasn't. I mean, there was like a line of cars. All right. There's a line of cars there. I mean, it's like, wow.
I imagine it was the delay from this morning on my way in. I'm not sure there was another car on the road.
Okay.
Either direction on my way in this morning.
Okay. Well, I mean,
the first vehicle I saw was a semi getting onto the Marcia Sharp next Avenue Q. That was the first other vehicle I saw.
Wow, it was just heavier traffic this morning. So
Sorry.
Maybe people getting there early and getting after it, or either that or it was people coming home from the Halloween parties. But I don't think there were that many on a Monday night.
I wouldn't guess.
Yeah, I wouldn't guess some people tying one on a Monday night. Having
tying one on
a Monday night.
Oh, there was a time.
But
any day that ended in Y, we were good. We didn't need a reason, just a place.
Where did that term come from?
What, tying one on?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I mean that's pretty common.
Oh, I've heard it before.
Yeah, tying one on. I'm gonna tie one on tonight. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I do not know.
Mm-hmm.
No Cowboys.
Sometimes the origins of things like that are decently entertaining.
Yeah.
The first time it was because of the King of England.
Sure.
You know, he used to tell his court jester to, tie beer cans to his necklace or something. I don't know.
It's so funny you bring up the King of England, because I was reading something. I stumbled on something this morning, and then I started reading it, and then it looked like it was going to be a longer read than what I wanted it to be. But it was talking about...
Did it have pictures?
I think there were a couple of pictures, but I mean, it was just a little bit longer than I wanted it. And I will guarantee you, when I tell you this, Jeff will be able to expand on it, okay? So it was talking about the reason why the width of the railroad rails are what they are and why they're not wider. And it goes back to England, and then it goes back to the making of wagons, and the support of the axle would only go that far across before they would break. And so when the same company that made the wagons was making the railroad tracks, and then it stayed that same width. Have you heard this before, Jeff?
Yes.
See, I told you he would know.
And oddly enough, in the U.S., going back to the Civil War, the reason that the train tracks are the same length in the U.S. because the southern states had a different gauge than the northern states did. When the northern states were pushing forward, they were redoing the gauges so that it matched their trains.
See, I told you he would know this.
That's awesome.
And then it became the universal standard for the U.S. And not every country follows the same tracks. Most of them do, but there's some that are outliers. I think Russia is a little wider.
The more you know.
Wow. I'm impressed with both of you.
Okay.
I am. See, this is the kind of walking around knowledge that I don't carry.
I know, but this is the kind of tidbitty stuff that we look for to be able to have extended conversations with folks, or to be able to say, hey, did you know? Or if somebody says, did you know this? Then Jeff can chime right in and add some depth to it.
Okay, and look at this one off the Yates Flooring Center chat line. It is thought that its original origin, and this is back to tying one on, that its origin dates back to the Wild West in the 1800s, where a cowboy would have to tie up his horse to a hitching post before he could go into the saloon and get slobber knockered.
There you go. Okay. I'm going to go. I got to tie him on. I got to tie one on. Yeah. Tie on my horse. Okay. All right. No Dallas Cowboys this week. They're idle, right? They've got their bye week. And I got to tell you, I think this team is better than we thought it was going to be. And it's because of the defense. But I mean, if you'd have told me coming at this
offense, though, pretty well clicking
no doubt.
Sunday,
Yeah, it did.
points.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Dak looked really good early. Okay. And, the 4 straight possessions that they scored on. But I mean, you go back to week 1 when they lost to Tampa Bay 19-3. Boy, Tampa looks like a completely different team, right? They look old, they look slow, they look lost, and the Cowboys feel like that they're kind of gaining some momentum. I mean, they win a ball game 49-29 without Zeke. Not that Zeke has been all that and everything, but I think he's been better this year. Mm-hmm. And, coming up, your next game is at Green Bay, and you got a bye week, and Green Bay has not been good.
Reeling. I agree with everything you're saying. I think the defense has really performed better than I thought they were, and that's been fun to see. I think the offense with Dak back, we'll see them be a little bit better than they have been. I thought Rush did a great job just kind of steering it in the right direction. I think this team definitely has a chance to be better than I thought as far as their record goes. And I'm going to tell you all that, and yes, there is a but. Of their wins this year, how many of those teams do you think are going to make the playoffs?
I think the Giants will make the playoffs. The Rams will make the playoffs.
Morning Drive.
Philadelphia will make the playoffs, but you lost to them. So, 1, 2.
You think the
3.
Rams are going to make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think eventually they'll make the playoffs.
Eventually? They're not going to make it today?
No, not today. I think at the end of the day they'll make it.
Yeah, I have questions about the Rams. I think the Giants probably are a playoff team.
And Philly's a playoff team. I mean,
But you lost to them.
Right, you lost to them.
Mm-hmm.
So far, 1, 2, maybe 3.
3?
Yeah, I'm going to say Cincinnati, the Giants, and the Rams.
Yeah, I don't know about Cincinnati.
I mean, they got work to do.
Yeah. Did you see that game last night?
I did. Yeah. They got work. Like I said, they got work to do.
Uh-huh.
So
I'm going to go with 1.5.
What you're saying is fair, but then look at the second half of the season, so to speak.
That's fine. They're going to make the playoffs, and I think they're a better team than I thought, and so maybe that, and to me the NFC is a little bit weaker this year than it has been in years past. That being said, you have 3 teams that I think are pretty good in the East, with the Eagles, the Cowboys, and the Giants. So it's not like they have like a complete patsy schedule.
Right. No.
All right. But, I mean, there's not a lot there in the second half that scares me. Minnesota's a good team.
Sure.
Obviously, you got to play New York again, and you got to play Philadelphia again. And Tennessee, that's decent. Tennessee's probably a playoff team. I think you have the potential to have a very shiny little record there, Chuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of, are you good enough to beat the best teams in the NFC when it comes to the postseason? I think the odds of you getting to the second round a lot higher than I would have thought of before the season started. I just still don't think they're an elite NFC team yet, but I've been impressed so far. It's hard not to be.
Well, I'll just
especially when you lost your quarterback and you really didn't,
right.
and you really didn't miss a beat.
And really, last week I think he looked like he looked like a much better quarterback. It looked like the guy you started the season with, as opposed to the week before when he was just rusty and getting back. But I do feel like they can get to the second round, maybe even a little bit beyond that. Might be able to win 2 games.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.